Things were hotting up in London. We were living very dangerously.
The bottom line is you want me to take some stolen money to Hong Kong.
Just remember, it was you who ran off with the bimbo and you who didn't come home from the opera.
Why is your mother taking care of him?
She's always fancied him.
To add to the usual risks, somebody, very soon, was about to become a lion's breakfast.
Look at it this way. Sunday, 9:35, on One.
In 5 minutes on BBC Two Newsnight, we'll be looking at the Queen's 40th anniversary speech, which has sparked off discussions on how the monarchy can change to face up to modern-day pressures. Also, the implications of today's Green Paper, outlining some options for the future of the BBC. Here on BBC One now, a special edition of Inside Story has the first ever television interview with an IRA informer who has lived to tell the tale. His account includes how he was approached by the RUC and went on to infiltrate the IRA, then a bizarre and disturbing twist before he finally had to leave his homeland forever.
Dear Claire, love, I have only a matter of hours left of my life. I only wish I could see you and the kids one last time. I wish you all the best with our new baby. I'll never know if I ever had a daughter or not. Tears are streaming down my face.
Informants in general is a dirty, unsavoury game, and we don't like it. We're obliged to enter into it because of the threat we face, and will continue to do so.
Anyone living in West Belfast knows that the consequence for informing is death.
Pray for me. Look after my grave and visit when you can. Tell the kids I will always love them and cherish them. Your loving husband, John.
This letter was written earlier this year by a man who knew he was about to be shot by the IRA. In the last 20 years, more than 40 people who the IRA claimed were informers for British intelligence have been executed by their self-styled courts.
The bodies of 2 of the 3 men murdered by the IRA as alleged informers have been recovered from the isolated South Armagh roadsides where they were dumped, naked and hooded, by their killers last night. The operation to recover the 3rd body is still underway.
And I reckon they would be shot by the time I got maybe to about 25.
Spying on the IRA is a kind of Russian roulette. Usually the only glimpse we get of an informer's precarious life is when his luck runs out. Now, for the first time in the Northern Ireland conflict, an undercover agent who survived tells his remarkable story from the safety of another country. His information saved many lives. We have disguised his appearance, and we shall call him Michael.
The IRA have got a very, very good security team. People in the IRA are very, very, very smart. There's very few people in the IRA who aren't smart. And in my opinion, if they suspect you and they get you, you're dead.
In Republican areas of Belfast, the word informer is synonymous with the cause betrayed. Here, the informer is branded as a common tout. But to the security forces, the informer is their most effective weapon. All the eyes and ears of the 30,000 soldiers and policemen in Northern Ireland can never match a source on the inside forewarning where the IRA will strike next. Most informers are recruited by the RUC Special Branch. Michael was only 17, but already known to the police as a seasoned criminal when they made their first approach.
I was approached by a uniformed RUC man. He was on the beat, walking around the area, and he just stabbed me. And he used to stab me all the time for weeks and weeks and weeks. And one day, I was walking along the street, and he made it his business to cut across the road to stab me. And he stabbed me, and the first thing he says was, "How you keeping?" and giving me mentioned my name. He says, "I hear you're taking driving lessons." And I just looked at him in amazement, more or less, "How do you know that?" And he told me that if he got my driving license, would I do him favours? I was amazed, because I was always a type of person who loved cars and things like that, and I always wanted to get my own car, so...
Did he say what sort of favours?
He didn't, but I knew he was getting it. I knew.
Within days, a meeting had been arranged with two Special Branch officers who were to become Michael's handlers. It was to be on the edge of a Republican estate.
I had to walk because I had no car, and I walked in to meet him. I get down near the bottom of the road where I was to meet him, and a car stopped in front of me. We went and we talked a bit. They gave me a code name and a telephone number to ring him. They just talked about me, about had any court cases coming up, stuff like that there. Stuff that they can get sorted out, but I hadn't.
So they were offering to square off any crimes you might have committed?
Yeah.
At first, Michael's handlers seemed satisfied with tidbits about ordinary crime, for which they paid him small amounts of money. But what they really wanted was information about the IRA, and before long they showed him photographs of people they said were active members.
I knew these people, and I says to myself, there's no way they're anything to do with the IRA. But I was to find out later that they were, and they were right. You see, people imagine that people who are in the IRA, everybody should know them, but it's not like that.
And these people were what? Neighbours, friends?
Some of them were friends from my early teens, and others were just people who lived about the area. So they more or less trained me and showed me photographs, montages of people who they knew were in the IRA, bombers, or people who was carrying out shootings, and they just kept showing me photographs and kept pumping them into my head who to watch.
Spying on the neighbours yielded real results. Security force raids on houses Michael identified recovered 1,500 pounds of explosives, 2 rifles, a telescopic sight, ammunition, and bomb-making equipment.
If I got a house hit, most times there was always something found in it. I would never get a house hit if I thought it was just maybe there's something there. I would only get a hit if I said yes. That's very suspicious if I get a hit. And usually it was maybe 6, 7 times out of 10 I'd be right.
While Michael was informing on other people's crimes, his handlers turned a blind eye to his own criminal career of robbery and fraud.
I was caught a few times. I was caught a few times on I phoned my handlers from a police station, just come up and sorted it, no problem.
What sort of things were you caught doing?
It was something that I could have been in a terrible lot of trouble over. Had I not been working for a special branch, I could have maybe got a big fine, maybe even jailed for a couple of months over it. It was coming to a stage where I was getting useful, and I was only starting off where they wanted me to start, so they couldn't afford for me to go to jail for something stupid.
In August 1989, a £1,000 bomb outside Belfast High Court was one of several attacks aimed at the heart of the legal and security establishment. The Special Branch believed that one of the bombers was a childhood friend of Michael's. His handlers asked him to revive the friendship and increased his regular payments to £100. They also bought him a car which allowed him to drive to safe meeting places. The car also had another purpose. Michael was encouraged to lend it to his friend, and it soon became clear why.
And I was told by 2 of my handlers that they were going to put a tracking device in the car. And I asked him, was it safe for me to drive about it? He says, it's okay to worry about it. Because even the IRA's debugging equipment wouldn't be defended.
The tracking device showed the special branch that Michael's IRA friend was spending a lot of time in the county down town of Cumber, but they didn't know why. So his handlers came up with a plan to lead them to the answer.
£88,000, 82, 84.
Michael and his friend shared an interest in cars. Michael's handlers suggested he invite the friend to a weekly car auction near Cumber in the hope that he would take the opportunity to visit the target. The two men bought an old Cortina, which they planned to do up and sell for a profit. Then they set out on the return journey to Belfast in convoy.
On the way home with the car, instead of heading back to Belfast, he turned into Cumber and I followed him. At first I thought maybe he had turned the wrong way, but he kept driving. And when we arrived, I noticed he was looking at this house for maybe 20, 30 seconds, and I thought it was unusual.
Michael reported all this to his handlers.
And they went, great, where is it, where's the house? So they went, and they got transport for me to go with them that following night. And we went up, and there was this big house in the corner that I had showed them, and they wrote down the details, and they went and checked it. And they found out that the persons who owned the house were members of the RUC. One was a Divisional Mobile Support Unit, that's DMSU's mobile in Belfast, and the other worked in a police station in West Belfast too. A girl and a fella.
At their next meeting, Michael's handlers told him the two police officers had been moved. Getting alongside his IRA friend had saved 2 lives.